Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster, and I thought I'd do the second episode of our What Do You Really Need for Carving mini-series, if you like. And what I wanted to talk about today are some of the more specialist items, you know, not the real basic stuff that you need, but the things that you can pick up along the way. You know, if you've been doing this for a while and you want to upgrade to some slightly better or more versatile kit. And I've got a small selection here of some of the stuff that I use. And what I think I'll do is I'll bring the camera a bit closer in and I'll give you a quick explanation of each of these pieces of equipment. Right then guys, so as I say, these are the slightly more specialist bits of equipment that I use. Some of them are slightly more specialist than others, if you like. So again, starting from left to right, and I think I showed you this in the last video, this is my silky Gomtaro. Now this is an Arborist saw. It's specifically designed for green wood, and being a fixed blade you can put a bit more power into it. It does cut a little bit quicker than things like the Baco Laplander. I've got another one of these that you've probably seen in my other videos, which has got a much longer curved blade on it, which is very good for sort of large branches and logs and things like that. But in terms of the sort of the specialist side of it, these are fairly expensive in comparison to other types of saws you can buy. But they do certainly help with sort of cutting and so putting less effort into your cutting, which is obviously really useful. Now let's see, what else do we have? So again, I've shown you this before as well. This is my froe. Froes are an extremely useful bit of equipment. It will do pretty much everything that an axe will do as far as splitting wood is concerned, but it can do it in a much more controlled way. It's also very useful for processing a lot of firewood very quickly as well. That's slightly off topic, but this will allow you to split out sort of fairly flat pieces of timber from a rounded log. And it will also help sort of if you're making things like spoon blanks, that kind of thing. You know, you can split down 2 or 3 or 4 out of a large log fairly easily. If you're making, I mean, these are for one of the uses of these, amongst others, is they are designed for making shingles. So you know, you will split off what are essentially wooden tiles, and you can use that for things like roofing and things like that. So again, if you're out and about and you want to make a platter of some sort, these are really good. Being much longer than an axe, you know, you can split down a log that's the diameter of this froe straight downwards with a fairly clean and even split. And the benefit of these as well is that you can make a handle for them out in the field, if you are out in the field, rather than having to carry one with you. Then most of them do come with a specified handle as well. Moving up to the top here, I've got my adze. Now I actually don't use this as often as I thought I would, but it is very useful for hollowing out kind of large bowls. This is the Gransfors one. I would very much like to try some of the other manufacturers just to see what the difference is. Hans Carlsen make a very sort of well recognised, well regarded one. But again, you use this in a kind of a sort of this kind of motion to chop out sections of a bowl or something that you're looking to hollow. You know, these are used throughout the world. You know, people make canoes with them and that kind of thing. And again, it's a fairly specialist bit of equipment. I mean, this one was relatively expensive, as are the Hans Carlsen ones, as far as I'm aware. I would recommend staying away from your kind of the cheaper versions that you can buy on certain online websites and auction sites and things like that. I would certainly recommend going with a named one if you're going to buy a piece of equipment like that. Now you've got this, which hopefully you will have seen in my other videos as well. This is my Twicker cam. These are not very well publicised. There's very few people that make them nowadays, and essentially it's basically like a giant spoon knife. And you work in a kind of a twisting motion like this, and this has absolutely revolutionised the way in which I approach woodwork, especially if I'm making things like bowls or cups and things like that. This one was made by Nick Westerman, who is a very well regarded blacksmith. And I've got 2 of these, 2 slightly different sizes. This is the larger one, and I've got a slightly smaller one as well. And I can't sing the praises of Twicker cams highly enough. I think they're exceptional bits of equipment. You know, as a tool, it's probably one of the best tools that I own. That's not part of sort of some of the basics that I showed you in the last video. Now moving on to axes, again another Gränsfors Bruks. As you know, I tend to favour Gränsfors as a brand, and again this is not about brands, this is just about the types of tools more than anything. Now this is the Gränsfors Bruks carving axe. And it's a very, very good carving axe. And the point I wanted to make with these is that, you know, I've got my Gränsfors mini hatchet, which I really, really love, but I tend to use this one for most of my carving just because that's what it's designed for. And I suppose the point to make really is that, you know, you can go out and there's lots of different makers on the market. Svante Dage make a really, really nice carving axe as well. Robin Wood has his own carving axe out, and there's multiple others out there as well. And really, if you're going to be doing a lot of carving, it does make sense in my mind to get yourself a dedicated carving axe. So this axe I only use for carving. I don't take it bushcrafting with me. I don't use it for splitting firewood or anything like that. It's just for use in carving, and it absolutely excels in that. So yeah, carving axes, if you're going to be doing a lot of carving, pick yourself a decent carving axe that you're going to use just for that purpose. Now the two tools I've got here are gouges. Gouges are really, really useful when it comes to hollowing out bowls, spoons, that kind of thing. Sorry about the planes, guys. I've been trying to avoid them while I've been filming, but there seems to be one every 5 minutes. Now this is probably my most used gouge. It is made by a company called Pfeil, P-F-E-I-L I think it's spelt. And this is a number 7 35mm gouge, and this is, in my opinion, an absolutely brilliant all-rounder. I think it cost about £20, so not a particularly pricey sort of price point there. And this is what I use for all of my bowls, all of my cooksers, all those kind of things. I would like to get a nice little dog leg gouge as well, which is basically this with it sort of comes out here and then bends round like that, so you can really get inside and scoop out. This does struggle with any kind of deep bowl. It's still possible, but you have to take a lot more care and a lot more time. This one is my who makes this? Hans Carlsen. Now this is what's known as a finishing gouge. So if you look at the two of them sort of together, one of them is a little bit deeper than the other. This one is designed for smoothing down all of the tool marks and the furrows that have been left by something like this. I don't use it as often as I thought I would do, so it's another one of my fairly little used tools, but if I am making a bowl, I will always give it a quick run over with this. The style of wood carving that I practice, I'm just not particularly good at removing tool marks with tools. I tend to rely very heavily on sandpaper, and it does take a lot longer because you're sanding out tool marks, and if I was able to use this maybe a little bit better than I can, then I would have a lot less work with the sandpaper, which is something I hate, as I'm sure you know. But again, I just probably need to practice a little bit more with this. And then the last piece, and this is again one of the sort of the fairly reasonably priced items that you can add to your carving kit, and this is a spoon knife. Now this is a Ben Orford spoon knife. You can see there his maker's mark. Comes with a lovely little hand-shaped handle, and the blades on these spoon knives that Ben makes are absolutely top notch. I've used the Mora ones, and there's nothing wrong with the Mora spoon knives, but if you've used a Mora spoon knife and then you've picked one of these up and you started using this, the difference in the quality and the way it works and how intuitive it is and how easily it cuts in comparison is absolutely phenomenal. Now I think you can pick these up for about £20–25, something like that. The Moras you can pick up between 10 and 15, so there's not a huge price difference there. So I would say if you've got the extra sort of £10 or so, go with one of these. Ben Orford's not the only maker out there that makes very, very good spoon knives, but this is the one that I have in my hand, and I've never really considered going out buying another one because this one works so well. Right then guys, so there you go, just my thoughts on some of the additional items that you can add to a carving kit if you're looking to either upgrade some items or you're looking for some slightly more specialist tools to sort of open up some of your possibilities to the types of things you can carve, or certainly make your carving more efficient. These are things that I've picked up over time, either things that have been recommended to me or things that I've kind of researched and you know, trying to find ways to make my carving better or quicker, or whatever it may be. And again, you know, as I've said, these items do come with a bit of a hefty price tag in some cases, and really I just recommend sort of considering what it is you're looking to get out of them, maybe doing a bit of research to get sort of the realities of what you actually will get from it. As I say, you know, I spent a fair bit of money on my adze, and I really don't use it half as much as I thought I would do. In comparison to something like my Twicker cam, which, you know, I honestly don't know what I would do without now that I own one. But anyway, I hope it was useful. A few ideas for you if you want to, as I say, upgrade your kit or you're looking for a new tool. But just something to think about. So comments and questions in the box below. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks guys.